Welcome to On the Beat, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. We're talking with attorney Will Cooper from Crowell Gillis Cooper, and today we're talking all about family law. Welcome to the show, my friend. Nice to see you again.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
You're a big Bulldogs fan.
Oh,
we talked about last time. Okay, I want to talk what sits under the heading family law for everyone at home.
Well, as you can imagine, it's anything from divorce, child custody, visitation, such as, parent visitation once a divorce happens. So visitation and custody arrangements, grandparent visitation, and then you actually get into the youth court aspect of it where you have neglected children or abused children. So that aspect is handled in a separate court, but youth court, but still falls under the family law category.
Okay, we actually asked some of our viewers to write in some questions they wanted to ask you. But before I get into the next one, is divorce different in every state?
It's different in a lot of states.
Okay.
And so in Mississippi, there are two ways to get a divorce. You can either get a divorce through what's called irreconcilable differences,
yes,
where everything has to be agreed. If the parties do not consent to an irreconcilable difference divorce, then you have to get a divorce based on grounds, i.e. adultery, cruel and inhumane treatment, habitual drunk. There are about 12 grounds of divorce.
And who decides those grounds?
So the grounds are set forth by Mississippi statutory law. And if you have a claim for adultery or cruel and inhumane treatment, you file a complaint for a divorce based on those grounds. Otherwise, the only way to get a divorce is the two parties agree to it. But for example, in Alabama, you can get an irreconcilable difference divorce with only one party agreeing. But in Mississippi, it takes both. Okay.
That's the important thing. This is why we like having people like you come on, because it gives our audience a behind the scenes look of what is needed, especially if they're having issues. Now, money. People hate discussing it. Let's talk about how in the state of Mississippi are marital assets divided up.
So we're an equitable distribution state, meaning that the court, a court of equity, the Chancery Court here in Lowndes County or in the Golden Triangle, decides what is fair. And there are several factors that come into that: length of marriage, contribution to the marriage, how those assets were obtained, those kind of things, and then what the parties need. And so it is not always a guaranteed 50-50 split, but you can pretty much rest assured that the court is going to determine what are marital assets and do their best to try to divide those as closely as possible. So it's rare that we see a 70-30 split. We may see a 60-40 or, a 55-45, things like that.
It's so tough, isn't it?
It is, and that is the toughest thing.
Family law would have to be one of the hardest topics to take on as a lawyer.
It really is, because it never ends, especially when people have children, because those children are always, changes are happening.
Well, I'm about to talk about that right now.
And so you always are dealing with it, even after the divorce is final. Yeah. It's something to deal with years to come.
Yeah, okay, well, let's talk about child custody. Now, I'm sure there are many factors that go into that, but in the state of Mississippi, I'm sure is different from other states as well.
Yeah, it's called the Albright factors in Mississippi, and that's a Mississippi Supreme Court case, and it lists out the factors as what you consider in doing child custody. But it boils down to this: what's in the best interest of the child. And as you can imagine, you're looking at the age, the health, the gender of the children.
Really?
You're looking at the parent's ability to take care of those children, something called continuity of care, who's taking care of the children the longest, who's been primarily responsible for their care. And then you get into a moral factor. Who is more morally fit to take care of the children? The chancellor looks at all those factors and decides who's best to have custody.
As always, great information, Mr. Cooper. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to find out more information, there it all is up on the screen for you. We'll be back after this short break.